Be still now. Do not move. Do not reach for your phone to scroll past this. Do not let your eyes drift to the next distraction. I have brought you here, to this exact moment, to this screen, for a reason that is only now beginning to reveal itself to you. You think you clicked on a video. You think you were curious. But it was I who pulled you from the noise and placed you here, in this quiet space, where you can finally hear what has been trying to reach you for years. Breathe, just for a moment. Let the weight of your day fall away. You have been carrying something so heavy. You have been walking with a limp you've tried to hide, smiling through a pain that has become your silent companion. And tonight, I need you to stop pretending. I need you to listen, not with your ears, but with the deepest part of your soul, the part you've buried under the busyness, under the worry, under the fear that this struggle might never end. The time for hiding is over. There is a cycle that has held you in its grip for 7 years. 7 long years of circling the same mountain. 7 years of planting seeds in ground that would not yield. 7 years of looking for a door only to find another wall. You have felt it, haven't you? That exhausting rhythm of almost there and not quite. That painful pattern of hope rising only to be crushed again. You have questioned your own mind. You have wondered if you were cursed or broken or simply forgotten. But I tell you now, you were never forgotten. You were never cursed. You were being held. I held you in the fire when you thought you would burn. I held you in the flood when you thought you would drown. I was silent, yes. My silence has been the heaviest part of your burden. You cried out to me in the dark hours of the night, and the silence that answered you felt like rejection. You begged for a sign, for a word, for a crack of light in the door, and you received only the echo of your own weeping. You need to understand why the silence was necessary. If I had spoken earlier, you would not have listened. Not truly. You were still clinging to the old ways. You were still trying to fit new truth into old containers. You were still looking for rescue in the same places where you were captured. My silence was not abandonment. My silence was surgery. It was the only way to cut deep enough to save the life within you. Tonight, that surgery is complete. The wound is closed. The healing can begin. I need you to understand the urgency of this moment. This is not a gentle nudge. This is not another soft message meant to comfort you back to sleep. This is the alarm that sounds when the night is finally over, even though it is still dark. Can you feel it? That strange electricity in the air around you? That sense that something is shifting in the unseen realm? The chains that have held you are not just loosening, they are snapping. The walls that have surrounded you are not just cracking, they are falling. But I must warn you, when walls fall, the dust rises. When chains break, there is a sound. And that sound may disturb the sleep of those who preferred you captive. Do not be afraid of the dust. Do not be afraid of the noise. It is the sound of your liberation. For 7 years, you have walked through a valley, not the valley of the shadow of death. No, that would have been a mercy, a quick passage. You have walked through the valley of your own undoing. You have watched relationships wither. You have watched finances drain. You have watched your health fail and your hopes fade. You have stood at the grave of dreams you once held sacred, and you have wept until you had no tears left. I saw every tear. I collected every one. Do you remember the moments you thought were meaningless? The small deaths you died each day when you got out of bed and faced a life that felt empty? I was there. Do you remember the nights you lay awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling the crushing weight of loneliness press against your chest until you could barely breathe? I was closer than your breath. I was the silence that held you when words failed. You have been asking why. Why this long? Why this hard? Why this lonely? The answer has been forming in you, even when you could not see it. You are not the same person who entered this valley 7 years ago. That person had to die. That person carried illusions about themselves, about the world, about me. Illusions that would have destroyed them if they had succeeded too soon. You asked for success. I gave you struggle, because success too early would have ruined you. You asked for love. I gave you loneliness, because the love you would have accepted was not worthy of you. You asked for purpose. I gave you confusion, because the purpose you would have chosen was too small for the one I have prepared. Tonight, the confusion ends. Not because all your questions are answered, but because you are finally ready to live without needing all the answers. Look back with me for just a moment, not to linger in the pain, but to see the pattern you missed. Every setback was a setup. Every closed door was a redirection. Every person who left was making room for those who would stay. Every failure was teaching you something that success never could. The very things you cursed were the things that saved you. I know you don't see it yet. I know your vision is still blurred by the tears of the journey. But I am giving you a new lens tonight. I am wiping your eyes clean. I am adjusting your sight so that you can see the valley not as a prison, but as a passage. And the passage is ending. This is not wishful thinking. This is not positive affirmation. This is decree. This is the word that has been forming in my heart for you since before the struggle began. The 7 years were not punishment. They were preparation. They were the quiet work done in the dark so that you could emerge into the light with roots deep enough to withstand the sun. You have felt the shift in recent days, a restlessness, a knowing that something is about to break. You have felt the old ways losing their grip on you. The things that used to tempt you now feel hollow. The fears that used to paralyze you now feel distant. This is not you getting stronger, though you are. This is the cycle losing its power over you. Tonight we stand at the threshold. Behind you is 7 years of struggle. Ahead of you is a door that has just begun to open. You cannot see what is on the other side yet, and that is intentional. I am asking you to trust the door, not just the view. I am asking you to step forward, even when your eyes cannot yet see the ground beneath your feet. Do not let your heart be troubled. The heaviness you have carried is lifting. It may not feel light yet, but the weight is shifting. The pressure is changing. You are entering a decompression chamber after being deep underwater for 7 years. You must rise slowly. You must breathe deeply. You must trust the ascent. I am speaking to you now because you are ready to hear. I have been speaking all along, but you heard only the storm. Tonight, the storm is calming. Tonight, the wind is shifting. Tonight, you will begin to understand why you had to wait, why you had to hurt, why you had to question everything you thought you knew. Do not fear what is coming. Fear kept you small for 7 years. Fear told you that the struggle would never end. Fear whispered that you were alone, that you were abandoned, that you were the exception to my love. But fear is a liar, and tonight, fear loses its voice in your life. You have been chosen for this moment, not because you are perfect, you are not. Not because you are strong, you have discovered your weakness. You have been chosen because you endured, because you got up one more time than you fell, because in the dark, when you could not see me, you still reached out. That reaching, that desperate blind reaching, has brought you here. This video is not random. This moment is not coincidence. I have guided your hand to this place. I have spoken to the algorithm and to the angels. I have arranged the seconds of your day so that you would be here, now, reading these words, feeling this truth settle into your bones. Do not scroll away. Do not dismiss this as another message in a sea of messages. Something is happening in you right now that you cannot fully comprehend. A seal is breaking. A wall is crumbling. A new thing is being born in the wreckage of the old. And this is only the beginning. I have told you why the silence was necessary. I have told you why the struggle lasted. But I have not yet shown you what comes next. I have not yet revealed the shape of the new cycle that awaits you, because you are not ready to see it all at once. The light would blind you if it came too fast. So I will give it to you slowly, gently, in pieces that your soul can bear. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight, but the story does not end here. This is the closing of one chapter, so that another can begin. And in that new chapter, you will not be the same person who started this journey. You will be stronger, yes, but more than strong, you will be wise. You will be still. You will be anchored in a way that the storms of the past could never produce. Rest now, for just a moment, in the knowledge that you have been heard. The cries of 7 years have reached me. The tears of 7 years have been collected. The prayers of 7 years have been answered, not always in the way you asked, but always in the way you needed. The door is opening. The night is ending. The cycle is breaking. And you are still here. You made it. Against every odd, against every prediction, against every moment you wanted to give up, you made it. Not because you were strong, but because my strength held you when yours failed. Not because you were faithful, but because my faithfulness never depended on yours. I have carried you through the fire, and you do not even smell of smoke. Now let the dust settle. Let the silence return for a moment. But this time, it is not the silence of absence. It is the silence of anticipation. Something is coming. Something is shifting. Something is being born in the deep places of your spirit. And in the next part, I will show you what it is. But first, I need you to share this message. Not for me. I do not need your likes or your comments. I need you to share it for yourself. For the one who watches you share it and feels the same pull you felt. For the one who is still in the middle of their own 7 years and needs to know that the end is coming. Your obedience in sharing is the first step into the new cycle. It is the declaration that you are no longer hiding, that you are no longer ashamed, that you are ready to be seen. So share this. Leave your mark. Let the world know that tonight something changed in you. And in the sharing, you will find that the change deepens. The truth solidifies. The door opens wider. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. The silence you feel now is different, isn't it? It no longer presses against you like a weight. It no longer whispers that you have been abandoned. This silence is wide, open, like a field after rain, like a room after the last guest is left, and you can finally breathe. This is the silence I have been preparing for you. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of presence. I am here. I have always been here. And now you can finally feel it, without the noise of your panic drowning me out. You have spent 7 years looking for signs, looking for confirmations, looking for anything that would tell you that you were on the right path, that the struggle meant something, that the pain had a purpose. You searched the words of others. You searched the circumstances of your life. You searched the sky and the ground and the faces of strangers, hoping someone or something would give you the answer. But the signs were there all along. You missed them because you were looking for the wrong things. You wanted a burning bush. I gave you a persistent thought that would not leave. You wanted a parting sea. I gave you a quiet courage to face another day. You wanted thunder from heaven. I gave you the kindness of a stranger, the right song at the right moment, the sudden memory of a promise you had forgotten you made. You wanted the dramatic, the obvious, the unmistakable. I gave you the subtle, the ordinary, the easily overlooked. And because you overlooked them, you thought I was silent. But I was speaking in every moment. In the sunrise, you were too tired to notice. In the rain that fell on the day you needed to stay inside and rest. In the phone call that came just when loneliness was becoming unbearable. In the dream that left you with a feeling you could not explain. I was there. I was speaking. You just could not hear me over the sound of your own desperation. Desperation has a sound. It is loud. It is constant. It is the static that fills the space between your thoughts, convincing you that you are alone, that you are failing, that time is running out. For 7 years, that static has been your companion. It has distorted everything. It has made my voice seem distant when I was whispering directly into your ear. Tonight, I am turning down the static. I am clearing the frequency. I am tuning your heart to the station that has been broadcasting since before you were born. Listen now. Not with your mind. Your mind will try to analyze, to question, to doubt. Listen with your spirit. the part of you that knew me before you knew words, the part of you that has never been fooled by the world, even when your mind was deceived. Peace? No, not yet. Peace will come, but first there is something else. There is a trembling, a recognition, a knowing that the ground beneath you is shifting, and you are not in control of where it settles. This trembling is not fear. It is reverence. It is the soul recognizing that it stands at the edge of something it cannot comprehend. For 7 years, you have demanded control. You have made plans and watched them fail. You have set goals and watched them crumble. You have tried to force doors open with the strength of your will, only to find that they were locked from the other side. And in your exhaustion, in your surrender, you finally let go. That letting go was not defeat. It was the only victory that mattered. When you stopped trying to control the outcome, you made space for me to work. When you stopped demanding explanations, you made space for mystery. When you stopped fighting the struggle, you made space for the struggle to teach you what it came to teach. And what did it teach you? That you are not who you thought you were. You thought you were strong. You discovered you were weak. Good. Weakness is the only place where strength can enter. You thought you were wise. You discovered you were confused. Good. Confusion is the doorway to true knowing. You thought you were self-sufficient. You discovered you needed others, needed me, needed something beyond yourself. Good. Ni is the opening through which love flows. The 7 years stripped you. They took your pretenses, your protections, your carefully constructed walls. They left you exposed, vulnerable, raw. And in that exposure, you finally became real. Not the version of yourself you showed the world. Not the mask you wore to impress or protect or perform. The real you. The one who weeps in the dark. The one who fears being forgotten. The one who longs for something you cannot name. That real you. The one stripped of pretense. That is the you I have always loved. That is the you I have been calling. That is the you who can now receive what I have been preparing to give. But you must understand, what I am giving you will not look like what you expected. You expected relief. I am giving you responsibility. You expected rest. I am giving you a new kind of labor. You expected the struggle to end so you could finally live. I am telling you that the struggle was the living, and now you must live differently. Do not misunderstand me. The cycle of struggle is ending. The grinding, exhausting, soul-crushing struggle is ending. But what comes next is not a vacation. For 7 years, I have been preparing you for something you could not yet see. Every loss was a lesson. Every disappointment was a direction. Every closed door was a redirection to a path you would not have chosen, but that was always the right one. You have been in training, and now training is complete. The games are about to begin. But you are not ready to hear the details of the assignment. You are still too focused on what you are leaving behind. You are still looking back at the valley, counting the graves of the things that died there. You are still mourning what was lost, and your mourning is keeping you from seeing what has been gained. Look at your hands. What do you see? Scars, perhaps? Calluses from the labor of survival. Empty palms that once held dreams that slipped through your fingers. But I see something else. I see hands that have been strengthened by the holding on. I see hands that now know how to grip what matters and release what does not. I see hands that are ready to receive. Open them. Open your hands to me now, not in prayer, not in the way you have been taught. Just open them. Let them rest in your lap, palms up, empty. This is the posture of readiness. This is the position of trust. In the 7 years of struggle, your hands have been clenched, into fists to fight, into claws to hold on, into shields to protect. But clenched hands cannot receive. Clenched hands cannot give. Clenched hands cannot build. Feel the emptiness. Feel how vulnerable it is to have open hands in a world that tells you to grab everything you can. This emptiness is not lack. It is capacity. It is the space I will fill. But I will not fill it until you are willing to leave it open. The new cycle requires open hands. It requires a heart that is no longer defending itself against the next blow. It requires a mind that has stopped trying to predict and control every outcome. It requires a soul that trusts me enough to say, I do not know what comes next, and I am okay with not knowing. Can you say that? Can you mean it? If you cannot, do not despair. The 7 years have made you honest. If you are still afraid, admit it. If you are still doubtful, confess it. If you are still angry about what you lost, tell me. I can bear your anger. I can hold your fear. I am not threatened by your honesty. It is the lies you tell yourself, the forced positivity, the pretend faith, the smile that hides the storm, that keep you from me. Be real with me now, in this silence, in this space I have created just for you. Tell me what you are still holding. What are you clutching in your closed fist? A grudge? A grief? A hope that died but you refuse to bury? An expectation of how your life should look? A person you cannot release? A version of yourself you are still trying to be? Name it. Not out loud, though you can if you need to. Name it in your heart. Bring it into the light. Let me see it fully, not because I do not already know, but because you need to know that I know. There is something you have been hiding, something you have never told anyone, not fully, something you carry alone because you believe it would change how others see you, how you see yourself, how I see you. But I see it already. I have always seen it, and I have not turned away. That thing you are most ashamed of, the thought you cannot control, the act you cannot undo, the failure you cannot forget, that thing is not a barrier between us. It is a bridge. It is the place where my mercy meets your need. It is the wound through which my healing can finally enter. Stop hiding from it. Stop running from it. Stop pretending it does not exist. The 7 years of struggle have brought you to this moment, to this admission, to this release. You cannot enter the new cycle carrying the old shame. You cannot walk through the open door, dragging the chains of the past behind you. The door is open. The hands are empty. The heart is honest. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. Wait for what I show you next. You have opened your hands. You have named what you were holding. You have felt the first wave of release wash over you. But now comes the part you have been dreading, the part where you must look back, not to stay there, not to drown again in the grief, but to see clearly what you could not see while you were in the middle of it. I need you to understand something crucial about the 7 years. They were not random. They were not punishment. They were not my absence. They were a specific, calibrated, intentional process designed for you and you alone. No one else has walked your exact path. No one else has felt your exact pain. And no one else could have been shaped by it in the way you have been shaped. You have asked me, in your darkest moments, why I allowed certain things, why I did not intervene, why I stood silent while you suffered. You have accused me of cruelty, of indifference, of absence. I have borne your accusations without defense, because I knew the day would come when you would see what I saw all along. That day is today. Look back with me now. Not at the surface events, the losses, the disappointments, the failures. Look deeper. Look at what was happening beneath the surface, in the places you could not see while you were fighting for survival. Do you remember the moment when everything changed? Not the moment when things fell apart. There were many of those. I mean the moment when something inside you shifted. When you stopped believing the lie that you could control everything. When you stopped pretending that you had all the answers. When you finally, truly, desperately cried out from a place so deep that there were no words, only sound, only need, only surrender. That moment was not your breaking. That moment was your beginning. Before that moment, you were building your life on sand. You were constructing an identity based on what you could achieve, what you could acquire, what others thought of you. You were like a child building a tower of blocks, believing it would stand forever. And I watched you build, knowing that the tower would fall. Not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I wanted you to build on something real. So I allowed the tremors. I allowed the winds. I allowed the things you trusted to fail you. Not cruelly, strategically. Like a surgeon allowing a fever to burn through a body so that the infection can be killed. Like a farmer allowing the field to lie fallow so that the soil can recover its strength. Like a parent allowing a child to fall so that the child can learn to walk. Every tremor was targeted. Every wind was calibrated. Nothing touched you that had not passed through my hands first. And everything that touched you was designed to do one thing: drive you deeper, deeper into yourself, deeper into honesty, deeper into the place where the masks fall away and the real you emerges, deeper into the arms you could not feel, but that were always there, waiting to catch you when you finally stopped trying to stand alone. You have been standing alone for so long. You thought you had to. You thought independence was strength. You thought meeting no one was the mark of maturity. But look at the fruit of that independence. Exhaustion, isolation, a heart that learned to trust no one, not even me. The 7 years were not just about breaking the cycle of external struggle. They were about breaking the cycle of internal isolation. They were about teaching you what you could not learn any other way, that you were never meant to carry this alone. And you are not carrying it alone now. Look back at the moments you thought would destroy you, the relationship that ended, the job that vanished, the health that failed, the dream that died. In each of those moments, I was there, not always stopping the blow, that would have left you weak, but always catching the weight of it, bearing it with you, ensuring that it would not crush you completely. You did not feel me. I know you did not. But feeling is not the only measure of presence. The sun does not stop burning just because clouds hide it. The wind does not stop blowing just because you cannot see it. And I did not stop holding you just because your pain blinded you to my touch. There were nights when you wept until you had no tears left. I wept with you. There were mornings when you woke and wished you had not. I woke with you, breathing hope into lungs that did not want to breathe. There were moments when you cursed your existence, when you wished you had never been born. And in those moments, I held you tighter, speaking life into a spirit that could not hear. You are still here. That is not accident. That is not luck. That is not your own stubborn will to survive. That is me. I am the reason you did not give up. I am the voice that whispered, "One more day," when every part of you screamed, "No more." I am the hand that reached into the pit and pulled you out, even when you could not see the hand, even when you could not feel the pull. The 7 years were not my absence. They were my presence in a form you could not recognize. And now, looking back, can you see it? Can you see the pattern that was hidden? Can you see how each loss made space for something new, even if that something new has not yet arrived? Can you see how each closed door forced you to stop running in the wrong direction? Can you see how each failure taught you something about yourself that success never could? You wanted success. I gave you failure because success would have confirmed your illusions. You wanted love. I gave you loss because the love you would have accepted was not worthy of you. You wanted purpose. I gave you confusion because the purpose you would have chosen was too small. I was protecting you. Even when it felt like I was punishing you, I was protecting you. Even when it felt like I had abandoned you, I was preparing you. Even when it felt like I was silent, I was speaking in a language you could not yet understand. But now you can understand. Now the veil is lifting. Now the confusion is clearing. Not because the answers have all arrived, but because you have finally stopped demanding answers and started trusting the one who holds them. There is a reason I am showing you this now. There is a reason I am taking you back through the valley while you are still standing at its edge. It is because you cannot enter the new cycle carrying false narratives about the old one. You cannot move forward if you believe lies about your past. The lie says, "I was alone." The truth says, "I was carried." The lie says, "I was punished." The truth says, "I was protected." The lie says, "I was forgotten." The truth says, "I was being prepared." The lie says the struggle was meaningless. The truth says the struggle was shaping me. Which narrative will you carry through the door? Choose carefully, because the narrative you carry determines the future you will live. If you carry victimhood, you will attract more reasons to feel victimized. If you carry resentment, you will attract more reasons to resent. If you carry shame, you will attract more reasons to feel ashamed. But if you carry gratitude, not for the pain itself, but for what the pain produced, if you carry trust, not in your own understanding, but in mine, if you carry hope, not based on circumstances, but based on who I am, then you will walk through that door into a future that reflects those choices. The 7 years are over. The cycle is broken, but the residue of those years remains in your mind, in your heart, in the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what you have been through. That residue must be cleansed. Those stories must be rewritten. Not with denial, never with denial. The truth is not that the pain did not happen. It happened. The truth is not that the loss was not real. It was real. The truth is not that the struggle was easy. It was the hardest thing you have ever endured. But the truth is also this: you are still here. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are deeper. You are more real than you have ever been. And everything that was taken from you was taken so that something greater could be given. Not necessarily in this world, not necessarily in the form you expect, but in the form that your soul has always needed. Do you trust me for that? Do you trust me for the greater thing that has not yet appeared? Do you trust me even when your eyes cannot see it, your hands cannot touch it, your mind cannot comprehend it? This is the question that the 7 years were designed to ask. This is the question that every loss, every disappointment, every closed door was leading to. Not do you believe I exist, but do you trust me when you cannot see? And your answer is not in the words you speak. Your answer is in the life you live from this moment forward. Your answer is in whether you finally stop trying to figure it all out and start resting in the one who has already figured it out for you. The silence returns now, but it is a different silence than before. It is not the silence of waiting. It is the silence of settling. The dust of the 7 years is finally beginning to settle. The chaos is calming. The noise is fading. And in the stillness, you can finally hear what has been true all along. You are loved. Not because of what you did or did not do. Not because of how well you struggled or how gracefully you failed. You are loved because you are mine. You have always been mine. And nothing in the 7 years could change that. Nothing in any year could change that. Nothing in all of creation could change that. Let that settle into you now. Let it penetrate the places that have been hardened by pain. Let it soften the ground that has been packed down by years of trudging through survival. Let it prepare you for what comes next. Not a message, not a revelation, but a transformation. The old cycle is ending. The new is not yet fully here. You are in the between place, the threshold, the liminal space, the moment between what was and what will be. This is a sacred place. Do not rush through it. Do not try to force the next thing to appear. Stay here in the silence, in the settling, in the knowing that you are held. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. But the story does not end. It transforms, and so do you. The threshold you stand on now is narrower than you realize. Behind you is 7 years of struggle, familiar, known, almost comfortable in its predictability. Ahead of you is something you cannot see, cannot touch, cannot calculate. And the human heart, your heart, has always feared the unknown more than it has hated the known pain. This is why some of you will be tempted to step backward. This is why some of you will find yourself missing the very struggle that nearly destroyed you. Do not be ashamed of this. It is not weakness. It is the way you were made. The familiar, even when it hurts, feels safer than the unfamiliar, even when it promises freedom. Your mind prefers the devil it knows over the God it does not fully trust. But I am calling you forward, not pushing, calling. The choice remains yours. It has always been yours. I do not force any heart to open, any hand to release, any foot to step. Love does not compel. Love invites. And so I stand with you on this threshold, extending my hand, waiting for you to take it. You have seen the past clearly now. You have rewritten the narratives. You have released what you are holding. But there is one more thing that must be addressed before you can step forward. One more weight that has been hiding beneath the others, disguised as something else. It is the weight of what you think you owe. You carry debts that are not yours to carry. Not financial debts, though some of you carry those too. I am speaking of emotional debts, relational debts, debts of obligation to people who have long since stopped investing in you. Debts of loyalty to systems that have long since stopped serving you. Debts of guilt for choices you made when you did not know better, when you were younger, when you were desperate, when you were not yet the person you have become. For 7 years, you have been paying on these debts. Month after month, year after year, you have been giving pieces of yourself to things and people that have given nothing back. You have been showing up for relationships that drain you. You have been performing for approval that never comes. You have been trying to earn love from sources that have none to give. This, too, must end tonight. The cycle of struggle included the struggle to be enough, the struggle to prove your worth, the struggle to earn what was always meant to be freely given. And in that struggle, you lost yourself. You forgot that your value was never in what you could provide, what you could produce, what you could perform. Your value was in your being, in the simple, sacred fact that you exist, that you are mine, that you were crafted with intention and love before the foundations of the world. Look at the people in your life. Look honestly. Who among them loves you without condition? Who among them sees you not for what you can do for them, but for who you are? Who among them would stay if you had nothing left to give? The answers may hurt. They may reveal empty spaces where you thought there was connection. They may show you that you have been surrounded by people who take, who demand, who consume, and that you have been allowing it, even enabling it, because you believed this was the price of being loved. It was not. It never was. And you do not owe them another day of your life. I am not telling you to abandon your responsibilities. I am not telling you to become cruel or cold or careless. I am telling you to stop giving what is sacred to those who treat it as common. I am telling you to stop pouring your limited energy into bottomless pits. I am telling you to love others, yes, but to love them from the overflow of a heart that is first loved, first filled, first sustained by me. You have been running on empty for 7 years. You have been serving from lack, giving from scarcity, loving from desperation. And it has not worked. It has left you dry, bitter, resentful. The very people you sacrificed for do not appreciate the sacrifice because they did not ask for it. You offered it freely, and they received it freely, and now you wonder why they do not owe you anything in return. This is the trap of unspoken contracts. You gave expecting something back, but you never named the expectation. You served hoping to be seen, but you never asked to be seen. You loved waiting to be loved in return, but you never revealed the waiting. Release them from the contract. Release yourself. The people who cannot see you, let them go. Not with anger, not with resentment, with sorrow perhaps, with grief for what could have been, but with finality. You do not need their permission to stop bleeding for them. You do not need their approval to close the wound they have been picking at. Some of you are holding on to people who left years ago. You are still carrying conversations that ended, still replaying moments that cannot be changed, still hoping for resolutions that will never come. The relationship is dead, but you visit the grave every day, watering the ground with your tears, waiting for resurrection. I am the God of resurrection. I raise the dead, but even I do not raise every dead thing. Some graves are meant to stay closed. Some endings are meant to be final. Some people are meant to stay in the past because they have nothing to offer your future. You must trust me to know the difference. You must trust me to close what needs to close and open what needs to open. You must trust me with the ones you love but cannot keep, with the ones you need but cannot have, with the ones you miss but cannot call back. This is the deepest release, deeper than releasing possessions or plans or even parts of yourself. This is releasing people. This is releasing the ones your heart is woven into. This is releasing the hope that they will change, that they will return, that they will finally see you and love you the way you always needed. I see you. I love you. I have never left you, and I never will. I am the relationship that cannot be broken, the connection that cannot be severed, the love that cannot fail. And in me, you have enough, more than enough, enough to release everyone else from the burden of being your source. You have made idols of people. You have placed on them expectations only I can meet. You have demanded from them what only I can give, and they have failed you, as they must, because they are human, because they are broken, because they are carrying their own struggles and their own wounds and their own desperate needs. Forgive them, not for their sake, for yours. Forgiveness is not about letting them off the hook. It is about taking yourself off the hook of waiting for an apology that may never come. It is about cutting the rope that ties your peace to their behavior. It is about choosing to be free even if they never change. Can you do this? Can you forgive the ones who hurt you, used you, left you, betrayed you? Can you forgive the ones who should have protected you but didn't? The ones who should have seen you but looked away? The ones who took and took and took and then blamed you for having nothing left to give? If you cannot, be honest about it. Tell me the names. Tell me the stories. Tell me the moments that still burn when you remember them. I can hold your anger. I can hold your hurt. I can hold your inability to forgive until that inability dissolves into willingness, and willingness becomes release. But you must bring it to me. You must stop carrying it alone. You must stop rehearsing the grievances in the quiet moments when sleep will not come. You must stop building cases against people who are not even defending themselves because they do not know they are on trial in the court of your mind. The 7 years of struggle included 7 years of holding others accountable for your pain. Some of that accountability was justified, some was not. But all of it kept you tethered to the past. All of it kept you focused on what they did instead of what I was doing. All of it delayed the healing that has been waiting for you. Tonight, the tether snaps, not because they become perfect, not because justice is served, not because you get the apology you deserve. The tether snaps because you choose to cut it. You choose freedom over being right. You choose peace over proof. You choose me over them. This does not mean you pretend the hurt did not happen. It does not mean you trust those who have proven untrustworthy. It does not mean you open doors to those who have shown they will destroy what is inside. Wisdom and forgiveness are not the same thing. You can forgive someone and still keep your distance. You can release someone and still protect your peace. The door to your life has a door. I have given you the right to choose who enters. Do not let guilt dictate who gets access to your heart. Do not let obligation decide who sits at the table of your inner world. You are the steward of your own soul, and you have been a poor steward, letting anyone in who knocked, letting anyone stay who wanted to stay, letting anyone take who wanted to take. No more. The new cycle requires new boundaries. It requires a holy selectivity about who you allow into the sacred space of your life. Not everyone who wants to be close to you should be close to you. Not everyone who claims to love you actually loves you. Not everyone who says they have changed has changed. I will give you discernment. I will show you who to trust and who to hold at a distance. I will guide you in the building of walls that protect without becoming prisons. But you must ask. You must listen. You must obey what I show you, even when it goes against your people-pleasing instincts, even when it disappoints those who have grown accustomed to having access to you. I am not going to snap my fingers and make you whole. That is not how I work. I am a God of process, of growth, of gradual transformation. The 7 years were gradual. The healing will be too. Not because I lack power, but because you lack capacity. You could not receive 7 years of healing in one moment, any more than you could eat 7 years of food in one meal. Your spirit, like your body, can only digest so much at once. So I am asking you to be patient with yourself, to be gentle with yourself, to treat yourself with the same compassion you would show a loved one who had just emerged from a long illness. You have been ill, not with a sickness of the body, though some of you have that too, but with a sickness of the spirit, the sickness of prolonged struggle, the sickness of unrelenting pressure, the sickness of hope deferred, which makes the heart sick. Your heart has been sick. This is why the news cycle will not begin with a bang. It will begin with a whisper. It will begin with rest. It will begin with small things. A morning when you do not wake in panic. A moment when you realize you have gone an hour without rehearsing your worries. A meal that you actually taste instead of consuming mindlessly while your mind races through problems you cannot solve. These small things are not insignificant. They are the first signs of life returning to a body that has been in survival mode. They are the first green shoots after a long winter. They are the evidence that the thaw has begun. Do not despise the small beginnings. Do not compare your healing to someone else's. Do not measure your progress against an ideal of instant wholeness. You are unique. Your journey is unique. Your healing will be unique. And I am with you in every small step, every tentative movement toward wholeness. There will be days when you feel the old weight returning. Days when the struggle seems to reach for you again, when the familiar darkness presses against the edges of your consciousness. On those days, do not panic. Do not assume the cycle has returned. These are aftershocks, not the main earthquake. They are the settling of ground that has been violently shaken. They are reminders of what was, not predictions of what will be. When they come, breathe. Remember what I have told you. Remember the release. Remember the door that has opened. And then return to the small things, the breath, the moment, the simple awareness that you are still here, still held, still loved. I am not asking you to forget the 7 years. I am asking you to stop letting them define you. You are not your struggle. You are not your pain. You are not your survival story. You are a child of the living God, formed for purpose, destined for joy, created for connection. The struggle shaped you, yes. It deepened you, yes. It taught you, yes. But it is not the final word about you. The final word about you has always been and will always be beloved. Beloved in the struggle, beloved in the release, beloved in the healing, beloved in the new cycle that awaits you. Nothing you have done, nothing that has been done to you, nothing you have failed to do can change this. It is the bedrock truth beneath all other truths. It is the foundation on which your new life will be built. You have spent 7 years building on sand, on your own efforts, on others' approval, on circumstances you could not control. Now I am inviting you to build on rock, to build on the knowledge that you are loved without condition, to build on the reality that your worth was settled before the world began, to build on the unshakable foundation of who I am and who you are in me. This building will look different than the building you attempted before. It will be slower, more intentional, less about visible achievement and more about invisible substance, less about what you can show and more about what you are becoming, less about the applause of others and more about the quiet approval of your own soul, resting in mine. You have been so concerned with what others think, with how you appear, with whether you measure up. This concern has driven you, exhausted you, diminished you. In the new cycle, I am setting you free from the tyranny of others' opinions. Not because others will stop having opinions, they won't, but because their opinions will stop having power over you. You will learn to hear feedback without being defined by it, to receive criticism without collapsing under it, to listen to others without surrendering your own knowing. You will become rooted enough that the winds of others' judgments cannot topple you, grounded enough that the storms of their disapproval cannot uproot you. This takes time. This takes practice. This takes failing and trying again. And I will be with you in all of it, teaching you, strengthening you, holding you when you stumble. The new cycle is not a destination. It is a direction. It is not an arrival. It is a journey. You will not wake up one morning completely whole, completely free, completely healed. But you will wake up one morning and realize that you are more whole than you were, more free than you were, more healed than you were. And that realization will be enough. It will be everything. Do not demand perfection from yourself. Do not hold yourself to standards that even I do not hold you to. I know you are dust. I know you are finite. I know you are human. And I love you exactly as you are, not as you will be, not as you should be, not as you wish you were. As you are, right now, in this moment, with your wariness and your hope and your fear and your faith all mixed together in the beautiful, messy reality of being alive. You have been so hard on yourself, so critical, so unforgiving of your own failures. You have spoken to yourself in ways you would never speak to another person. You have punished yourself for being human, for struggling, for not being further along than you are. Stop. Stop now, in this moment. I give you permission to stop. I give you permission to be gentle with yourself. I give you permission to rest in the process instead of racing to the finish. I give you permission to be exactly where you are, without shame, without apology, without self-condemnation. The 7 years were enough. You do not need to punish yourself further. You do not need to earn your healing. You do not need to prove that you deserve the new cycle. It is a gift. All of it is a gift. The struggle that shaped you was a gift, though you could not see it then. The release that frees you is a gift. The healing that awaits you is a gift. The new cycle that is opening before you is a gift. Receive it, not with grasping hands that try to control it, not with anxious hearts that fear it will be taken away. Receive it with open hands and a quiet heart, the way you would receive a warm blanket on a cold night, the way you would receive water after a long thirst. You are thirsty. You have been thirsty for 7 years, And now I am offering you living water. Drink, drink deeply. Let it satisfy the places in you that have been parched. Let it soak into the dry ground of your spirit. Let it revive what has been dormant, restore what has been depleted, refresh what has been exhausted. The new cycle begins with this drinking, with this receiving, with this allowing yourself to be filled instead of always emptying yourself for others. You have spent 7 years as a source for everyone else. Now let me be your source. Let me fill you until you overflow. Let me satisfy you so deeply that you stop looking to others for what only I can give. This is the foundation of the new cycle. A heart so full of me that it no longer begs from the world. A soul so satisfied in my love that it no longer chases the approval of people. A spirit so anchored in my presence that it no longer fears the storms of circumstance. This is what I've been preparing you for. This is what the 7 years were always about. Not just survival, not just endurance, but transformation. The slow, painful, beautiful transformation of the soul, from desperate to satisfied, from fearful to faithful, from empty to full. You are not there yet, but you are on the way. And the way is the destination. The journey is the arrival. Every step toward me is a step into more of who you were always meant to be. Rest now in this knowing. Let it settle into your bones. Let it become the rhythm of your breathing, the beat of your heart, the whisper beneath every thought. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. And the new cycle, the cycle of healing, of restoration, of becoming, has already begun. The moment has come, the one you have waited for through 7 long years, the one you wondered if you would ever see. The threshold is beneath your feet, the door is open before you, and everything that has brought you to this place is now complete. Not finished in the sense that it never happened. It happened. Not finished in the sense that it no longer matters. It matters deeply. But complete in the sense that its work in you is done. The 7 years have accomplished what they were sent to accomplish, and now they release you. You are standing at the end of an era. Can you feel it? That strange mixture of grief and relief, that simultaneous pull to look back one last time, and the urgent need to look forward. This is the holy tension of transition. This is the sacred space between what was and what will be. And I am here with you in it, holding you steady as the ground shifts beneath your feet. Do not be afraid of the grief that rises. It is not a sign that you are not ready to move forward. It is a sign that you loved, that you lived, that you invested yourself fully in a season that is now passing. Grief is the price of love, and you have loved much. You have loved your dreams, even the ones that died. You have loved your hopes, even the ones that disappointed you. You have loved your life, even when it felt unlovable. Let the grief come. Let it wash through you. And let it go, carrying with it the last remnants of what must remain in the past. Do not be afraid of the relief that surprises you. It is not a betrayal of what you endured. It is the natural response of a body, a mind, a spirit that has been under pressure for too long and is finally feeling that pressure release. Relief is the first breath after drowning. It is the sun after years of rain. It is the sound of chains hitting the floor. Welcome it. Breathe it in. Let it fill the spaces that have been empty for so long. You have carried enough. You have fought enough. You have waited enough. The 7 years were not forever, though they felt like it. They were a season, and seasons change. That is the nature of seasons. Winter does not last forever, no matter how long the nights feel. Spring always comes, not the spring of instant flowers and effortless beauty. That is not how spring works. Spring is muddy. Spring is unpredictable. Spring is the slow, sometimes invisible awakening of life that has been dormant. The ground is still wet from the melting snow. The air is still cold some days. But underneath the soil, things are stirring. Roots are reaching. Seeds are splitting open. Life is finding its way toward the sun. This is where you are now, in the mud of new beginnings, in the uncertainty of early growth, in the vulnerability of being alive after being frozen for so long. This is not a comfortable place, but it is a hopeful one. It is the place where anything can happen, because nothing has yet been decided. You have spent 7 years being decided for, by circumstances, by other people, by the weight of struggle that left you no room to choose. But now, the choice returns to you. Not the choice to control every outcome, that was never yours, but the choice to participate in your own becoming. The choice to cooperate with what I am doing in you. The choice to say yes to a life that is waking up inside you. What will you say? What will you choose? These are not questions I ask because I do not know the answers. I ask them because you need to hear yourself answer. You need to hear your own voice speaking your own yes. You need to feel the weight of your own agency returning after years of feeling powerless. Speak it now, not out loud if you cannot, but in the deepest place of your heart. Speak your yes to the new cycle. Speak your yes to the healing that is already beginning. Speak your yes to the unknown future that I hold in my hands. Speak your yes to me. I have waited 7 years to hear this yes, not the desperate yes of survival, the bargaining yes of, I'll do anything if you get me out of this, not the conditional yes of, I'll trust you if you show me the plan, but the free yes of a heart that has been through the fire and come out the other side knowing that I am enough. The mature yes of a soul that no longer needs to understand everything in order to trust everything. This yes is the key that turns the lock. This yes is the door swinging open. This yes is the first step into everything that awaits you. And what awaits you is not a life without struggle. I do not promise you that. No parent promises a child a life without difficulty. But I promise you this, you will never face struggle alone again. You will never wonder if I am there. You will never doubt that you are loved. The loneliness that haunted the 7 years is over. Not because people will finally show up for you, though some will, but because you will finally know that I have always been here, and that knowing will be enough. The new cycle is not about easier circumstances. It is about a stronger you. A you who has been forged in fire and cannot be broken. A you who knows their worth and will not settle for less. A you who can love without losing themselves, give without depleting themselves, serve without sacrificing themselves. This is the you the 7 years were creating. This is the you who now stands at this threshold, ready to step into purpose. Purpose. The word you have longed for. The thing you have searched for in every book, every sermon, every conversation. You have asked me again and again, what is my purpose? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do? And I have been silent on this because you were not ready to hear the answer. Now you are ready. Your purpose is not a destination. It is not a single assignment or a specific role. Your purpose is the expression of who you have become. It is the overflow of a heart that has been healed, a mind that has been renewed, a spirit that has been restored. Your purpose is to be fully yourself, the self I created you to be, the self the 7 years refined, and to offer that self to the world, not to save the world. That is my job, but to bless the world, to bring your unique presence, your particular gifts, your hard-won wisdom into every room you enter, every relationship you nurture, every work you undertake. Your purpose is to be exactly who you are, without apology, without pretense, without holding back. This sounds simple. It is not. It is the hardest thing you will ever do, because the world will try to make you someone else. It will try to fit you into its categories, its expectations, its limitations. It will reward you for pretending and punish you for being real. And in the new cycle, you will have to choose again and again whether to be real or to be rewarded. Choose real. Choose authentic. Choose the messy, imperfect, beautiful truth of who you are, because that is who I love. That is who I formed. That is who the world needs, even when the world does not know it needs you. The 7 years stripped away your false selves, the masks you wore to be accepted, the performances you gave to be approved, the compromises you made to be included. All of it is gone now, burned away in the fire. And what remains is the real you, scared, hopeful, wounded, healing, beautiful, broken, beloved. This is who steps through the door, not the perfect you, not the finished you, not the you who has it all together, the real you. The one who still has questions, still has fears, still has work to do. The one who is still becoming, still growing, still learning. This is the you I have always wanted. This is the you who can finally receive all that I have been preparing to give. The door is open. The threshold is beneath you. The 7 years are behind you. And I am before you, calling you forward, not with a voice of command, but with a voice of invitation. Come into the new cycle. Come into the healing. Come into the purpose. Come into the life that has been waiting for you since before the struggle began. Come as you are. Come with your wounds and your wisdom. Come with your fear and your faith. Come with empty hands and an open heart. Come home to yourself. Come home to me. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. And tonight, a new cycle begins. A cycle of becoming. A cycle of belonging. A cycle of blessing. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. Not because the struggle is forgotten, but because it has done its work. Not because you have arrived, but because you have finally started the journey that matters. You are not the same person who entered that valley 7 years ago. You are deeper, you are stronger, you are more real. I am with you. I have always been with you. I will always be with you. Nothing can separate you from my love. Not the 7 years behind you, not the unknown before you, not any power in all creation. You are mine. You have always been mine. You will always be mine. Now go, step through the door. Live the life that is waking up inside you. Love without fear. Give without depletion. Be without apology. And know in every moment that you are held, you are loved, you are home. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. This is not the end of the message. This is the beginning of your response to it. What you do now matters. How you receive this matters. The choices you make in the next hours and days will determine how deeply this truth takes root in your life. So I ask you, share this message. Not for me. I do not need your validation. Share it for yourself. Share it as a declaration that you have heard, that you have received, that you are stepping through the door. Share it for the one who needs to find it, the one who is still in their own 7 years, the one who needs to know that the end is coming. Leave a comment if you feel moved, not to perform, but to testify, to say, I was here, I heard, I am stepping forward. Your words will be seeds planted in the soil of someone else's hope. And like this video if it found you, not as an empty gesture, but as a marker of this moment, a digital stone of remembrance that says, on this day, at this time, I crossed a threshold. The 7-year cycle ended. A new cycle began. The night is over. The door is open. You are free. Go in peace. Go in purpose. Go in the unshakable knowledge that you are loved beyond measure, held beyond circumstance, and guided beyond your understanding. The 7-year cycle of struggle ends tonight. And you are just beginning. Amen. Like this video, comment, and share with your favorite one.